Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Hands-On channel. I'm out here at the property today. I thought I'd bring you guys along to just one of my favorite spots. I know I say that all the time. I've got so many favorite spots, but I mean, just look at that view. Everything's turning really lush and green. We got a good spring rain. The pond is filling up. Everything is just going wonderful. And I wanted to share something with you guys a couple of nights ago. I'm sure you've heard by now because it's been all over the mainstream media. Roe v. Wade. Honestly, my opinion on that is it should have never been a thing anyways along the way, because when you look at just the basic building blocks of Roe v. Wade, the lady, I believe her name was Jane Roe, she never actually had an abortion. They don't talk about that. So there is a baby Roe running around out there somewhere. And just think of that. They have to have that hanging over their life for their entire, they were almost aborted. I mean, so they know that their mother was considering and being talked into and persuaded to have an abortion. Of course, she never did. She came to her senses, thank God. And, I'm assuming that she raised a normal baby and everything was all right. And then later on in interviews, she actually said one of her greatest sins was being involved with that whole situation, getting roped into being the spokesperson, the poster child for abortion. I mean, she feels like all of those deaths and all of those sins are on her conscience. And, I can't blame her. I would feel the same way. But I'm sure, as you've heard by now, the Democrats have leaked out. The Supreme Court is getting ready to overturn Roe versus Wade and give the rights back to where they belong, according to the Constitution, to the states. They're not saying that abortion is illegal or you can't have abortion in California or something like that, but they're saying it's a state's right. And so, of course, without fail, the Democrats are coming unhinged. I mean, they're wailing and they're threatening people and just, talking about civil war and revolution and all this other stuff that if our side talked about it, we'd be locked away in the January 6th gulag and the key would be thrown away. And people's due process is being violated all the time. Every day that goes by that these January 6th defendants are being accused of a made-up crime that they're calling insurrection. What about when the Democrats and the Antifa people do this? What about the person, the clerk, Sotomayor's clerk, that supposedly is the one that released this information? What was their motivation for doing that? Well, at first I was like you. I just celebrated. I was like, oh my God, this is wonderful. They're going to get rid of abortion on a federal level. They're going to basically make it to where it's not tied to the Constitution, because like Nancy Pelosi said a couple of days ago that, oh, this is a constitutional right to have an abortion. What about that baby, that unborn child's rights to pursue happiness, to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness? What about that? What about that entity's life? I mean, that's where I've always drawn the line. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, once you're past conception, that's it. It's a human life now. You cannot go in there and just kill the thing and throw it in a vat or whatever and use it for all kinds of different studies. You guys have heard all the horror stories about abortion and how they're using these baby parts to sell all over for scientific research and stuff like that. And, harvesting stem cells and just on and on and on. These atrocious things that people are doing in the name of science, but it takes killing a freaking human being, a human baby, the most precious thing there is, the most precious gift God has ever given humanity. Babies. I mean, they're cute for a reason, right? I mean, they're cute so that the parents will love them and want to, form a bond with them. That's why babies are cute in every species, right? They're the most vulnerable creature that there is. And as a watchdog, I feel it's my duty to protect unborn children, because the left has, they've got it in their pussy hat that they're basically going to kill all the babies they can. They're anti-human. And somebody in one of my old videos that I put up accused me. They said I was a Republican. I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm a capitalist. And, I don't understand that the United States has socialist systems like the post office and Social Security and blah, blah, blah. And I, to that person, I say, you don't know me from Adam. You don't know what in the hell you're talking about. For one thing, I'm only registered as a Republican because there are no other options. I do not like the modern Republican Party. The only reason I tend to vote Republican is because they're more in line than the evil Democrats. One side represents somewhat good, and that's the Republican Party. The other side represents Satan, pure evil, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, Moloch. I mean, you know, somebody made a joke the other day, and I thought it was kind of disgusting and funny at the same time. They said, so are these people on the left going to take their Ukrainian flags down off of their Facebook and all their little bullshit virtue signaling that they do online? Are they going to take that down and put up a picture of Moloch? Because that's who they're worshiping now with their abortion. So why did they do this? Why did they release this information? Well, at first, again, I was just happy about it. I was celebratory, and, you know, I ran out of my office and told my wife, I was like, oh my God, they're overturning Roe v. Wade. And I was just celebrating in a very great mood. And then I started thinking about why they would leak this information. And obviously, they leaked it so they could activate their brown shirts, the Antifa, the BLM, all these people that are the Democrat, the violent extremist arm of the Democrat Party. That doesn't exist on the right. But they say it's the Proud Boys and all these other groups, people like me on YouTube, where I've never called for violence or anything like that. They accuse people like us of being violent when they are the ones that are actually going out and doing violence on people and tearing down shit and burning down cities, destroying statues, destroying our history. Why do they do that? Because they don't want you to know the truth. Apologize here. My voice is a little bit raspy still because I'm still getting over a chest cold. But yeah, guys, I had to make this video. I wanted to bring you to a beautiful spot. This is cause for celebration. The only problem is they're trying to put pressure. They're brown shirts. That's the best way to describe them. Because January 6th was a Reichstag event. And these people that are the militant arm of the Democrat Party are acting very much like brown shirts. And they didn't do that just by happenstance or by luck. They're doing this by design, guys. This is all part of the Great Reset. And to see the Supreme Court make such a monumental decision at this time in our history is just, it's astounding. I did not expect this to happen. I expected Roe v. Wade to stand forever, and they were just going to say, oh, no, it's a constitutional right to go and kill another human being. We call it abortion. And we call them fetuses instead of babies. I mean, the language is very important in all this stuff. But these evil Democrats are so hell-bent on winning that they will jeopardize true democracy. You know, the way the system is supposed to be set up, the republic is supposed to be set up, is we have a judicial branch. The judicial branch decides what's constitutional, what's unconstitutional. But these people on the left are trying to put pressure, political pressure, on the country, so that everybody goes out and gets mad and riots and put their pussy hats back on and all this stuff. I heard a guy the other day, it was hilarious. He said it was like a superhero. You know, you've got this, 45, 50-year-old LGB woman, and, she's got purple hair, and she's got a special place over in her, her bat cave or whatever, her superhero cave, where she keeps her special pussy hat in a cabinet that, it probably has lights on it when it comes on. And it's like donning a superhero cape. That's what it's like. They put that hat on, and then suddenly they're just like, screaming at the sky. That's the only thing these idiots can do, is scream at the sky. They can't win in a battle of ideas. They can't win in a debate. So the only thing they can do is scream and cry like little bitch-ass babies. That's what they are. They're acting like little babies. They're acting like when you and I were kids, if we acted like that, our mom or dad would whoop our ass, rightfully so. These people ain't never had an ass whooping. And they're going to keep pushing, and one of these days, they're going to find out it's not as good as they thought it was. They're not as tough as they thought they were. I mean, just look at the Antifa people. Are you telling me you feel threatened by people that look like, they're on meth and they got purple hair and all kinds of weird-ass piercings and tattoos and stuff like this? I mean, on their faces and stuff. That tells you right there. You see somebody with tattoos on their faces, that tells you that person probably has mental issues, okay? I mean, more than likely, 99%. I mean, I can't imagine what the numbers would actually be if they actually did legitimate psychological evaluations on the left and the right. I would argue that 90% of the people that are screwed up and just think that everything ought to be given to them for free, and when they don't get their way, they scream at the sky, they have mental issues. The people on the right are pretty well adjusted from my experience. Not to say we don't have a few people that are loose cannons and a little bit unhinged and stuff like that. But they're not nearly as bad as the people that actually go out and destroy things, destroy other people's property in the name of whatever cause it is at the moment, whether it be Ukraine or, most recently Ukraine, or last year it was COVID and get everybody vaccinated. What happened to My Body, My Choice whenever they were trying to tell everybody that they had to get a vaccine? See, they have no consistency in their standards, and there is no morality, and it's because they worship Satan and Moloch and people like that. They may not even realize that they worship Satan, but they do. It's pure freaking evil, guys. And chalk a win up for the good guys. Now, this isn't official yet, so we can't celebrate quite yet. But I do believe, according to the opinion that Alito put out, that basically they were not going to be bullied into changing their decision. But we'll see about that. I mean, a lot can happen in the next couple of months before this decision is actually final. But, just pray, guys. Pray to God that this goes through and it'll still be a state's issue. So then we can go to our local, state legislatures and lobby against abortion, because abortion is murder. No doubt about it. Abortion is murder. And I don't care. I don't want to hear all your little weird things about, oh, well, what about, incest and rape and other stuff like that? Well, if you're a mother and you cannot, a woman, because women give birth to children, if you're a mother and you've got this child because of rape, right? You don't necessarily have to raise that child. If you can't stand to look at that kid because it's going to remind you of that rape for the rest of your life, put the kid up for adoption. The kid is not at fault because you got raped. Don't punish a living creature that could have a perfectly normal life and be adopted by some good people and maybe become a good person, a good productive part of society. I think about all the people that are just, think about all of the hundreds of millions of abortions that have happened over the years. And of course, replacement migration is replacing all those people that have been aborted. But just think of all the people, the potential geniuses we could have had, the potential artists that we could have had, musicians that could have just made the most masterpiece, the most masterful song, the most masterful painting you've ever seen in your life, come up with a way to solve world hunger. I mean, who knows the possibilities when you kill everybody in the womb? It's just unbelievable, unfreaking believable. I'm pro-human, guys. I don't necessarily consider myself a Republican. I'm a conservative, if you want to know. And I really have a lot of libertarian type leanings in my quiver. I'm just not purely Republican or whatever. It's not that freaking simple. The people on the left, it is pretty simple though. They're flat out communist, socialist, Marxist. That's what they are. Any one of those will fit and work in any circumstance that they want to apply for. It basically means money for nothing. That's what they're after. Money for nothing. They want to sit around and play video games and go out and do their stupid, rallies and different things like that and protests and stuff. They don't want to, and they want to get paid for that, like a UBI, Universal Basic Income. They want a monthly check for going out and doing whatever the hell they want to do. They think that that's what life is about. But that's not what life is about. If you read the Bible, you know that we're supposed to work hard. From part of the fall of Adam, was part of our punishment was men were supposed to labor in the soil and do work on the ground of earth, because this is our dominion. And women, their punishment for eating the apple and believing the snake was to bear the bearing pains of childbirth. I'm trying to get it out here. It's starting to rain on me, guys, so I'm going to have to put up my equipment, but I wanted to touch base with you and just tell you how happy I am about this, but also how concerned I am that our judicial system could be manipulated by the actions of people on the left. And I personally believe whoever leaked this stuff should be going to prison for a long, long time. That is true insurrection. That is true traitorous actions, and they should treat that traitor like a traitor used to be treated. That's all I'm going to say about that, or else my video will get taken down. Let me know what you guys are thinking about down in the comments. What do you think about all this? Is abortion a national, is it a constitutional right for a woman to have an abortion, as Nancy Pelosi claims, or should that be a state's right? I believe it should be a state's right. And then on the state level, we can control it a lot better. You can see what a lot of places are doing, like Texas. They've essentially banned abortion. I believe it was Oklahoma, Florida, several other really red states are starting to take actions on a state level against murdering innocent babies. Unfreaking believable that we even have to have this discussion. Meanwhile, the border is wide open, and they're replacing all those murdered babies with illegals that many of them, not all, but many of them have bad intentions. What would the founding fathers think of all this mess that Biden and Pelosi and Obama and to some degree Trump and others have created? George W. Bush, Clinton, all of them have created this mess that they have created. What would they think? I think they would consider it traitorous, and they would deal with them like traitors were dealt with back in those days. But you know, we've lost our stomach for real justice. That's part of the problem, is that you know, I bet this person, this clerk that supposedly released it, will probably get a slap on the wrist. They probably won't even lose their job. But if that person was on the right, my God, they'd lock him up in the gulag forever. You know they would. You know it's true. Just look at the J6ers that are still sitting in the pen right now, and no speedy trial, no due process, no equal justice. The system is breaking and cracking all around us, guys. It's not completely broken yet. There's still remnants of good out there. And I wanted to share this with you because, again, it just lifted my spirits to know that at least on a federal, national level, the United States pretty soon, hopefully, if everything goes well, will not recognize abortion as a constitutional right. I wish they'd went a little further and talked about the right of the baby, the right of that unborn child to pursue happiness, to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But they didn't go quite that far, you know, and that's part of the problem. They never go quite far enough, you know. I've noticed that there's only a few people out there, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and actually she's the only one I can think of, that has actually come out and said, this is the Great Reset. This is the New World Order. This is Klaus Schwab's agenda and Bill Gates and all these other globalists that want to reduce population. That's what this has always been about, guys. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Does this make you happy? You know, do you think it's going to go ahead and pass? Or is the Supreme Court going to cave because of all the political pressure that they're going to get from the Democrats' brown shirts to burning down cities? And you know, who knows? It may even go deadly. They may kill a few people. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And do you think Biden is going to do one single thing, one iota of anything to stop the Antifa from rioting and looting and doing all the stuff they normally do? Hell no, he's not. That's my prediction. So let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. I always love reading them. And until then, I stand for liberty. And that means the liberty of the unborn child in that woman's womb over there. And suddenly, isn't it funny how suddenly now women are recognized again by the Democrats, when just a couple of weeks ago, their Supreme Court justice couldn't even define what a woman is?